Hi guys, Jurassic Junkie here, and I'm fucking really pissed off with PayPal for being a bag of shit. Welcome to the Friday Night Rant. So yeah, before I go on to the entire PayPal rant, I've just done a 12-hour shift and I do need a drink. So I've gone with Crabbies, which is a thing that I tend to go with, but I've managed to get my hands on some Crabbies Black. So before I unleash on my PayPal rant, I'm going to enjoy some ginger beer. So let's see what the difference is between black and standard ginger. It just appears to be very similar, apart from a very stronger taste of ginger. It tastes very, very similar actually, but that's not a bad thing. And it says on the back that it's been more mature with extra spices and citrus ginger. So yeah, I think it's just more of a twangy kind of ginger taste. Right, so now I've been topped up with a bit of alcohol. My PayPal issue. Now, all it was is I decided to sell a 3DS, and I did it through the methods of selling it on eBay. And I did so, made a bit of cash, and then I got the normal bill coming through simply saying that you need to pay £11 in eBay fees. So I thought, that's fine, that's going to come out at the end of the month. I then jumped into my PayPal account and noticed that I'd already been charged £18 in eBay fees. So I was a bit confused how they was about to charge me 11, but I've already paid 18. So I questioned it. I went onto eBay and they've got a nice little chat application so you can question somebody there and then. And I just says, what is this £18? What have I just paid for? And they looked into it and they says, right, we need to pass it to somebody else who will then pass you on to somebody else, and back and forth until somebody kind of gave me an answer. And they says, what's your eBay username? And I gave it them, and then they just simply turn around and says, no, that account is paid for somebody else's eBay fees. I says, okay then. And then he kind of just stopped. Didn't say anything. I was like, okay, what are you going to do then? Because I've just told you I'm called Mr. X and it's paid for Mr. Y. Why is this? And then he just turned around and went, why don't you ask your friends and family and see if they got your password? I says, no, they haven't. And he went, do you want to double check? I says, trust me, they haven't. And then he just stopped again. I says, right, fraud? How do I say this is fraud? How do I kind of get that ball rolling? And he says, oh, let me find out. I'll go away. And he disappeared and come back and says, well, your eBay account is only tied to one PayPal account. So that's correct. So eBay's not going to do anything. But it sounds like my PayPal account is tied to more than one eBay account. So therefore, it's a fault with PayPal. So kind of pass the buck, go over to PayPal, put your complaint into them. So I logged into PayPal. And there it is, that transaction, that £18. And there is a button on there that says unauthorised use. So clicked it, selected that £18. There's a little box saying put some information in. So I practically copied and pasted the eBay chat log in there, along with a simple explanation saying, I never sold this item, so why has it come out of my account? And that was it. Sent it off. I thought that's probably going to get resolved quite simple. So then I logged in today and I thought, what's going to happen with this outstanding unauthorised payment? I looked in there and it says that the actual issue that I've raised with PayPal has now been cancelled. And I was like, well, why? What's gone on? So I had a quick look and they've put on there, apparently, PayPal has contacted the buyer. The person's obviously received the goods. They're quite happy. They've received the goods. They've also contacted the person that actually sold it and they're apparently quite happy. And because of that, that's not classed as unauthorised use. So in other words, that's quite similar for EA, simply saying that they have sent a game to Joe Bloggs. So Joe Bloggs is happy he received a game. But EA is also happy because they received a payment. But it's me who's paid EA and Joe Bloggs received my game as such. So they're both happy, but I'm the one that's paying and receiving no goods. But in PayPal's eyes, that simply means that's not unauthorised use. If somebody else uses your account, it's not unauthorised, they're just happy. So at this moment at the time, my money's been stolen and PayPal are doing nothing about it because it's not unauthorised use. So, one thing I wanted to talk about this week is something that's always going around at the moment, and it's the old DLC bag of crap stuff. But this time it's going from the idea of the Wii side. Now, everybody knows you've got your Xbox Live, you've got your PlayStation Network, and both of them do very well pushing DLC, digital games, lots of digital stuff, they make fat cash from it. But the people that don't make much money from it is Nintendo. Now, some people see this as good and some people see this as bad. Now, on one hand, it means when a game is ported across the Wii, such as, I don't know, Call of Duty, for instance, it gets to go on the actual Wii, but it doesn't get the DLC that the other consoles do. Now, some people on one hand say that's good, because we don't want DLC, because it damages the market. And in one breath, I can completely agree, it's good that Nintendo doesn't have over-the-top DLC and day one DLC and all that crap. But on the other hand, every so often there is some good DLC or some good digital games, and it is a shame that the Wii doesn't get to take advantage of that. So, with most things, there's good and bad things of it. Now, the main reason, apparently, has come out that a developer, it was a particular guy, I can't remember his name offhand, he used to work for WiiWare, now works for Beamdog. I had to just have a look at that, so not heard of Beamdog before, but they was responsible for porting MDK2 over to WiiWare. So they did so, and what they said is once they actually went through the entire process of trying to get the game onto the marketplace and such, once you've done that, you'll never do it again because it's such a painful experience. So this is what they've said, and a few people have kind of backed them up now. And what they're saying is apparently you have to sell at least 6,000 units before Nintendo even let you sniff your own money. Which 6,000 units doesn't actually seem that much, but apparently a developer before them actually released a game which I think was called Line Rider. Correct myself, Light Line, and they never received any money whatsoever. They had the game, it was put there, and because it didn't hit the 6,000 mark, they never got any money whatsoever. So obviously that developer will then go, we're never going to go with Nintendo again. And the people who's behind this Beamdog MDK2 port simply said, very similar thing, that they've not received any money yet. And at the same time, that it took about 6 months for them to actually authorise it to actually go onto the store. So they're saying because it's a long-winded process and sometimes you don't get paid, developers sometimes don't see it's worth actually going through all the red tape and all the bells and whistles that go with it, just try and get the game on the WiiWare. Now obviously take with that what you will, because some people may be just pissed and they'll be saying, oh, it's a terrible service, and some other people really do benefit from it. Obviously there is some good stuff on there, but it just kind of opened my eyes a bit more, just thinking it might not necessarily just be that people don't want to create things for it. Sometimes it could be actually Nintendo make it a bit difficult compared to the other two. So fingers crossed when it comes down to the Wii U they're going to get it right, but the thing is they're going in with a blank slate. They can actually, fingers crossed, make this right, so they'll have all that digital content that we want, but hopefully stop the digital content that we don't want, such as day one DLC. So the balls with you, Nintendo, make us proud. So we might as well go with a bit of EA, start the music. So first of all then, Mass Effect. Always get a Mass Effect EA rant in there. And all it is Mass Effect have decided to release some free map pack content, which is awesome. We always like free DLC. But EA went to put it onto the marketplace and accidentally charged for it. So it's like, oh, God bless you, EA. When we went to go and buy it and it was there for a price, some people went, oh, we're paying for it, okay, and actually paid for it. And then they went, oh no, sorry, we should have given it away free. So fair enough, it probably was just a cock up, but it's a good reason to moan at EA, so I snuck it in there. Now the major thing which EA have said this week, and it's kind of made me go, ooh. What it is EA deciding that every game that they're going to start to launch is going to have a game universe. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to have a massive backstory like Mass Effect. It just simply means that what they want to do is when you play a game on your console, when you leave that console, you can still have some form of access to that game within the game universe. So the example they actually put out was you could play FIFA on your Xbox 360, then jump onto the bus to work, and on the way you could practice your penalties on your tablet. Now, I don't think he really thought out what he said really, because practicing penalties on a tablet probably won't actually be good practice for when you've got a controller in your hand. But fair enough, that aside. And then he says when you actually get to work, you can actually log into the website and look at different transfers. And then when you're coming back home, you'll get your phone out and you'll actually pick the kit for your team to play that night, then jump back on the console, and all that content is there ready to go. Now, on one hand, if you've got a game that you love, that's going to be good, because that means you can get access to that game at any point in the day, which is good. But the bad thing is, is it means it's going to be on everything. Now, the problem is that games are being released now, and because they are so big, they're full of bugs and glitches, and it seems that more and more problems are actually coming out with bigger games, and it's just become the standard now. That's what we kind of expect. It's big, it's got a problem. Now, if EA deciding to actually launch some massive games, along with launching it on every single platform known to man, that's just going to increase the amount of bugs and problems. And the thing is, the developers are going to be stretched across multiple platforms, and it feels like if they're not dedicated to one particular thing, it might not be as good content as what it could have been if they didn't have to try and put the fingers in so many pies. And the other major thing is, the thing of recurring all the way through this video is DLC. Now, what I'm scared of is you've got so much DLC already on your console, but then if they bring it to your phone, your tablet, your PC and everything else, I just see that there's now room to sell more things. So if you're just using a football kit application on your phone, they will sell you more kits to that phone. If you're looking for transfers on the PC, they'll add more transfers on there. And it just feels like it's opening it up for EA to just get bigger and fatter by selling us more crap. So, staying on the EA theme, last week, when I didn't do a Friday night rant, so first of all, I completely forgot. I apologise about that. I was called into work. Yay! So I got to miss the Friday night rant. But last week what I wanted to cover was somebody who was cleverly Googling away and I typed in Crysis 3 into Google, and it brought them to a origin page which simply shown the cover art for Crysis 3. And at first I actually thought it was a bogus article. I thought it was photoshopped. But then a few days later, Crytek turned around and went, yes, it's on its way. And the thing is, it was kind of, as soon as I said yes, it was coming out, they already had lots of art to show off, and the trailer was just released today, and then the major trailer is going to be launched in 4 days. And for them to say, oh yeah, it kind of leaked out, but have all this content ready, just feels like it's just a cheap way to actually start the hype train going and getting everyone buzzing for it. Now, I can't really complain because I enjoy Crysis 1. So far I'm enjoying Crysis 2, I've not finished it. So Crysis 3, I'll definitely be looking at. But the weird thing is, if anyone doesn't know, in Crysis you wear a nano suit, which probably costs between £1 million to £1 billion. Very clever stuff that goes into your cells and does all this magic. So yeah, technical, scientific, good stuff. So to back up, if you get dropped in a combat zone, you need the best kind of weapon known to man, a bow and arrow. So for some reason they think somebody who's rocking a nano suit needs to also play Robin Hood and run around with a bow and arrow. Now, at first, okay, I can moan. I can say there's no need to have a bow and arrow in that game, and to be fair, I'm probably right in saying so. So, but fingers crossed they'll be able to write it in, and we'll slightly be able to swallow it and go, okay, that's why we're using a bow and arrow. But anyway, that aside, it probably is actually going to be quite fun to play on it. But the thing that made me laugh after all this, it got leaked out by accident. EA then turned around and actually says, the best kept secret in gaming is out. Crysis 3 is not the best kept secret in gaming. If you want best kept secrets, go to Valve. They've got them all because they're that well kept. We don't even know about them yet. So yeah, it just seems like EA are just living in their own bubble, saying things, and you just stand back going, what the f*** are you smoking? So there you go. That's the entire EA DLC mishmash of a rant. So what I'm going to do is leave you with a question of the week, as I do every single week. But this one's a quite fun one. When I was in the pub this week, I was chatting to two gamers, Josh and Nathan, and we were just simply talking about back in the day when you used to pirate games. Now, I don't pirate anything at all now. I buy everything legit. But obviously, when you're a wee young'un, you do some naughty things. And obviously, along with most people, I had a chipped PlayStation 1. And we were just laughing at the fact that if anybody wants to get any illegal content now, it takes about 2 seconds and a torrent and they've got their hands on it. But back in the day, if you wanted to get any games, it consisted of A4 paper and a printout of prices. And we're just saying, wasn't it fun back in the day when you used to go to someone's house and go, oh, I've got these games, and you used to go photocopy it and give it all your friends, and that was your catalogue, and you used to go through, tell them, wait a couple of hours while they spin a disc off, and then that's how you used to get your illegal games. So, with that in mind, and giving you that old chestnut memory that makes you go, oh, I remember them days, I just want to simply know, how much have you actually spent on pirating games? Fair enough, if you do it nowadays, you probably spent zero because you just get everything through torrents. But back in the day, if you ever wanted to get a pirated game, you still had to pay for it. It was just a lot cheaper. So if you try and work out how much you actually spent on pirated games, how much would that work out to be? Now, I'll probably say mine would have to work out to be about £120, I reckon. All the way through my entire childhood, I think it's probably about, no, I'll say about £100 or so, because I think there was £5, maybe £10 a game. I think £5, we'll go with £5. So that works out to be about 20 games that I probably did have because I was a naughty boy. So yes, if you was very, very naughty and used to pirate games, how much do you think you spent on it? So as always, hope you have a great weekend. I'm going to kick back with some Catherine and then enjoy a lovely 12-hour shift. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Cheers, bye. When I was in the pub this week, I was chatting to two gamers, Josh and Nathan. It was Josh, wasn't it?